Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. We are back here today for a very, very special edition. It is the Shant, Dan the Man. Every time.
All right, need a Ricola?
Ricola.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Commish. I am the advocate of this special edition WrestleMania themed episode for the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast ever. The Anything Wrestling Podcast. God, how does Paul Heyman do it?
Being real dramatic right now.
Well, I have to be like my advocate.
Any sponsors?
Quick sponsors. This episode is brought to you in part by Mexican Candy. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but you'll find it in Mexico.
Also brought to you by Wide Open Bowls of Peanuts.
They're just there.
Well, with that, did I mention that you can enjoy all your favorite WWE programming only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
$9.99.
It's not $10.
It's not $1,000.
Not $1 million.
But
$9.99.
Anyway, like I said, we actually have a very special episode and actually a first time on the series.
This is the beta test
Yeah.
of a lot of these things.
And of course, just like every beta test, even we can say WrestleMania was the beta test 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Vince took a risk on what is now 35 years later coming the greatest greatest event ever, every year.
Well, you know, some things pan out and there's other beta tests like Raccoon's Career that just don't pan out.
Oh, how many times are we going to hear that this episode?
5 time.
Five time?
5 time.
5 time.
There, that's literally 5 times.
We actually have a game night tonight where we have a whole bunch of games that we've made up revolving around WrestleMania this year. We will explain the rules before we play each and every game. We have 4 games lined up for today, which we think are going to be a whole lot of fun. Again, we're giving this a shot, so
bear with us.
yes. So the first one that we have is...
Well, before we announce the games, I just want to take a little bit of more time away. 2 announcements. Well, technically 3. One announcement is, so I haven't personally mentioned this because I haven't had much time to work on it, but in the next couple of days I will. In the near future, everyone that's listening, be on the lookout for a Instagram account of the podcast. It's a work in progress. I'm going to start mentioning it more on the episodes just so you guys are aware. Second, congratulations to the Hart Foundation for being inducted into this year's Hall of Fame. Woo. Seems like we have a lot of tag teams.
And 2-timers.
Inducted. Yeah. So there's that as well.
Got to double down.
And
They're running out of people, man.
what was my third?
Just give it time. The Young Bucks will make it in there someday.
If they ever even get a chance to come over. I mean, they're in charge of their own company.
I don't know if you can call it a company.
It's a t-shirt store. That's right. I said it. Oh, I forgot the third thing I was going to announce. But either way, I just wanted to get those things out there. Okay. This is an Instagram account coming, and congrats on the Hall of Fame induction.
And that Instagram account will allow you guys to finally see some behind-the-scenes imagery, videos, clips, to put a face to the podcast.
Gotta put out the brand. Just saying.
So, with that, let's start our game night. And our first one is TLC.
Title lose concern.
You guys may know the concept of this game by other names, such as Can I say the words fuck, marry, and kill on the podcast?
We already curse as much as it is.
You may know the concept of this is FMK. The idea is which of these concepts would you push, which would you lose, and which one would you keep? We couldn't really... If you're listening and you want to be a part of this and you've got a better word for C, which is the
Conserve.
What? Would that be the marry option if you broke it down?
No, title I think would be the one that
Title is marry, yeah. So, which would be the fuck, the fuck version. Hit us up. Hit us up with a better word for the acronym.
Leave it in the comment section.
Hashtag C.
Just the letter C.
Just the letter C.
Don't include M-Punk.
So we got 3 WrestleMania 35 related topics that we're gonna go through. One of which has a double L, so it's TLLC. And we'll go ahead. We'll start with that one. So, gentlemen, TLLC, Sasha Banks and Bailey, Nia and Tamina, Natty and Beth, or the Iconics. See, that's why we need the Instagram account. Who you want to walk in two of the 3 of these? Who you want to walk out with the title? Who do you want to lose? And who would you be all right with?
Okay, since apparently the host gets to choose who goes first. Well, you're the host, right? I'm just the advocate.
Well,
I'm just the guy who's the loudmouth of the podcast, or the a-hole.
I mean, to be fair, he is the host of 2 of the other.
Yeah, that's why.
That's a good point. All right.
I just realized we didn't give him control of any of the games. That was not intentional.
Fine. No, that's fine.
He's just advocating. That's
all I do. All right. Title-wise, I want to see a change. I personally would like to see a change. I don't want our current champions to have the titles anymore.
You don't want a Sasha and Bailey WrestleMania moment?
You don't want
a hug? If it was just her, yes, but her partner is an idiot.
When you say her,
Bailey.
Oh.
I would choose title, lose, conserve in the following order. Iconic.
So are they?
They're the title.
Okay.
So we're seeing the Iconics walk out with the belts. Okay.
First losers, Nia Tamina. Second L would have to be, and this is where the irony of it would be, Sasha and Bailey.
All right.
And the conserve would be Beth and Nat.
Yeah.
The reason why I leave it that way is because, I don't know what it is about Natty's run in the last, year now?
Decade?
Yeah.
No, but just recently, overall. Like, decade-wise, she's had a good career. This last year to now, she's been a trainer. She's been a non-conservable tag partner to an idiot. What? Let it out. Really? Always when I talk, he always does this.
Sorry,
do you see this?
He instigated.
I caused that.
I know, but do you see?
Why did that just happen? Let me tell you. On the television behind us, we have last year's right.
Yeah, last
34.
year's
We have
Playing
WrestleMania
on
34.
the WWE network for a non-negotiable, very reasonable price of only $9.99.
Mania 34 is playing on the TV. Charlotte just beat Asuka for the title, so I flipped off Charlotte because I still hate that decision. Yeah, and so Sean saw this as the commish was talking and broke down.
And it's always when
Always
I
when the
fucking
commish is talking.
speak.
So, let's get back on track. My apologies. What were you saying, Natty?
She this whole last year and up to now, she's either been a trainer, a tag team partner, or had a horrible rivalry with who I think deserves a title push in the women's division with Ruby Riott and the Riott Squad. The fact that she's teaming up with Beth Phoenix, the fact that Beth is coming back in general. Is she a Hall of Famer already?
Yes.
The fact that she's returning the in-ring action, it's like It just seriously, can you focus? I'm done.
Well, this beta test is off to a hot start. So you're excited for Beth to come back?
Yes.
In summary.
Yes.
So we're looking at, from the commish, Iconics walk out with the title. If they don't, Beth and Natty. But God help us, no Nia and no Sasha. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Shant, over to you.
Okay. For title, I would have to say Iconics.
Iconics.
I just feel like at Elimination Chamber they were the humor in it, and they were just very charismatic. The audience kept on giving them a reaction, which is what you want. In regards to lose for the first one, I would say Nia and Tamina. Get them.
That seems like
Get
it's gonna
them
be
out of there.
interesting.
Tamina, why are you Dan?
Why
Are you employed?
are you employed?
Second lose, I would say Natty and Beth, just because, let's be honest here, I'm happy to see Beth back. Natty has had a few good stints in the last year where she's kind of grown on me, but let's be honest, if they win, Beth is going to probably have that title until, what's the next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, and then she's going to go, okay, back to being at the commentary booth. So it's like, if you don't have long-term plans for it, just let it go. And conserve would have to be Sasha and Bailey, because they are good assets to the company, but they've been good assets.
Oh, my bad.
Only one has a good ass.
Ets.
And an ass.
All right. So for me,
Were you gonna say something?
I don't know. Am I gonna say something? I mean, am I ever gonna be taken serious? If I could be serious for a minute.
Oh my lord! Now you're upset that you're. Being
Am I?
So I'm gonna join you guys. One lose is going to Nia.
The first one.
Wait, title's going to Nia?
No, the
lose.
loss.
Oh, okay.
Loss, because I can just jump in on that one and
Okay.
say we're all in agreement on that.
We're all on the
Fuck
same
those
page.
two.
I didn't say anything.
No, I meant for him saying it.
I will go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do mine all out of order. I'll give conserved Sasha and Bailey.
Okay.
Something I wouldn't mind seeing, and I doubt they'll do it. And honestly, I expect Sasha and Bailey to get their WrestleMania moment. I expect them to win. But I wouldn't mind seeing the re-trigger of that feud and then just finish it off.
Yes.
Just commit. So you could see the Iconics walk out with the titles, which causes a rift between Boss and Hug. Boss and Hug disintegrates again, which allows them to feud, get that shit out of the way before we get to the 4 Horsewomen. But
how does he always find a way to bring that back?
because I'm amazing.
With a pen drop.
God, I'm conflicted.
Who isn't?
Mostly because as a whole, I don't like the Iconics, but I'll give them the title too.
We gotta have a cue for that.
So we all hate Nia.
I don't hate Nia.
I do.
I will throw that. I think she's a really good talent. It's just she's been given way too much microphone time. Yes, she has injured a whole bunch of people. I will admit that, but I just feel like being the giant of the female division, you had something. That's it.
Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali, and the one, the only, Billy Gunn? Kofi Kingston.
He was the one.
All that
So
and an ass.
So we want to go through this one. We want to say who we would like to see face. We're still waiting on official confirmation. I'm hoping it's a singles match that happens. But who you want to see face Daniel Bryan? Do you want to see Owens, Ali, or Kofi? So title, lose, conserve.
If you want me to take this one since you took the last one? Okay. So it was Owens, Ali, and Kofi?
Correct.
Kofi's got to be title. No doubt. When you have the audience cheering for him like that, when the guy's a veteran, the guy can have classic matches. He's wrestled his ass off in gauntlet matches. That's a title. Lose. That's tough. Out of the two, I would retain Kevin Owens. Just because,
Was he your conserve?
Yeah, he's my conserve. Because while Ali can fly around and have a great match, your mic skills are not, they don't stand out necessarily. KO can be a goof, he can be a heel, he can be a face, he can be all over the place. So I'm conserving KO.
Okay.
And letting go of Ali.
All right, Kamish.
It's going to be the same.
You're in agreement with him?
Yeah. Kevin Owens has had a good run so far. I mean, he looks better than ever recently.
Yeah.
Do I see him getting a title push right now? I think it's just too early just because of his comeback. He's going to get a title opportunity down the road. And as long as he's kept on SmackDown, it'll be great. I give the L to Ali just because, again, you're right. He needs a developmental a little bit better on his like promo skills. Great performer, but just not his time yet. And of course, Kofi's paid more than enough dues. Like, God, the guy is so exhausted after like 6-7 opponents every other freaking week on SmackDown. Granted that's what's made SmackDown stay relevant for the last few weeks. But it's his time. 11 years, has almost every title but a championship one. He's the one that gets to sell.
All right, so I'm in agreement on Kofi. I'm going to go backwards, I guess.
Okay.
I'm in agreement on Kofi. I think it's long overdue. I've always liked Kofi. The New Day stuff, I've cooled on. Okay. Just the like campiness of it all. Especially because you know that these guys have more to them. Kofi versus Randy, outside of Kofi slipping on a car after pouring paint on it. I loved that feud. I thought that was a great character shift for Kofi. And
Stupid.
Yep. And then we lost all of that momentum going forward.
There was something else that was lost on that.
Yeah.
His Jamaican accent.
But I think this is the time for Kofi. Now, here's where I differ with you guys. I'm putting Khali as my conserve.
Khali.
Whoa.
I fused the Kevin and the Ali, and that turned into Khali.
And it's not
You know
great.
what? I'm going rogue. I'm bringing in the great Khali. I'm going with Ali for my conserve. I think that's what it was conserve and Ali. But I'm going with Ali because I think that would be a fun match to watch. Not necessarily because he's ready for a title match. I'm just basing that on which of the matches between Kevin Owens and Bryan or Bryan and Ali I would rather watch. And so I'm going with Ali, and then I'm losing Owens. No offense to Owens. I don't really know where we're going with him. I don't know if we're going to stick with him being a face, or you could have Kofi have his big moment. A bunch of the superstars come down to the ring. They're celebrating. You got Owens. He's standing there, and then bam, he turns heel.
So pulling the NXT of when Sami Zayn won the title.
Yeah.
Using somebody.
But you just have Owens jump him in front of everybody, and then he just rolls away and dips, and now that's your feud for Backlash.
I like that.
So that could be fun. But that's my take. So let's go to the literal main event of this game. The women's triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship.
This will take like 30 seconds.
So I'm going to put it in this order just so that I can keep track of it. And we're going to go with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. Title, lose, conserve.
Title, Becky, conserve Charlotte, fuck the raccoon.
Damn, I couldn't even get the opportunity to go first. He just decided to get the rundown.
Fun.
So...
Are you in agreement, though?
Yes. You've been advocating for Ronda lately, which kind of concerns me.
I was lately. I don't know.
In the past,
He's always kind of...
No, he's been our benefactor of being like reasonable. Where I'm just like whatever. You're in the greatest hatred and
I have my reasons.
Anger for
You're
her.
firmly in the fuck Ronda category.
But you gotta admit, I got my reasons.
So for me, I agree.
Told you 30 seconds.
The thing with Ronda is I've tried to
Give her the benefit of the doubt.
I've tried to be fair in my analysis of her. But goddamn is she annoying me right now. I don't know if this was a good angle to take with her. You can go as I'm the anti-wrestler with her, but the way she's approaching it is just like, fuck you, man. Like, what the hell was it? It was, I forget what the last thing was, but she just keeps shitting on wrestling, and it's like,
she's like, I don't even know what a beat the clock is. Must be one of your slapped on gimmicks that you have.
Yeah, she's
like, stop ruining the brand.
She's literally shitting on professional wrestling for a gimmick. Your gimmick is shitting on wrestling, and now it's to garner heat. But if they ever wanted to send her back to being a face, I don't think they can.
That's not going to work, yeah.
I think what they have to do now is they have to commit to the heel angle, build your 4 horsewomen match, and then let them ride off into the sunset. I think that's the ultimate result of this. I don't think you can go back.
No, one day, and I think this would work. The only way you can build her back as a face, but it would have to be in a 2 years worth process. You get your 4 versus 4. You continue that rivalry within those 4 versus the other 4 for the following year.
You could build an entire year's program out of
those 8.
Shuffling those 8.
But I don't trust those writers.
Me neither.
No, none of us do. But let's just say you build it out within the year. By the end of that year, if they've lost the most, and I'm talking about the MMA 4 horsewomen, have the other 3 turn on Ronda.
I think that would get a cheer rather than...
No, it wouldn't, because at that point, you can show that, like, okay, she finally has tried to commit to being a part of this wrestling thing. You build the angle that, like, they're all trying, but they're not getting any success because obviously you have the 4 that have been in this, that have committed to wrestling, that don't take it as a fucking gimmick like the idiot does.
Crazy.
And then you have the 3 that have worked their way up in NXT. Like, no, we committed to WWE just like you should have. If you're going to really be like that, then we'll turn on you and beat you down. You keep those 3 as heels.
Shayna, I'm okay with that being an end game too.
Yeah, and that's how you have Ronda right out. Let her have a rivalry with Shayna because Shayna seems to be the dominant. I think if it was within the 4 horsewomen of MMA, Shayna's the dominant over Ronda and the other 2.
Yep.
You have them have their rivalry, and then Ronda's contract's up.
Have Duke and Shafir had any other matches lately on NXT?
They've been on NXT, but I think it's just been like
isn't one of them?
They're not very good.
But one of them's joining Undisputed, supposedly. I forget which one.
Yeah, the one that's engaged to or is with Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're dating.
Jesus H. Christ. All right, you guys, you do you, boo-boo. But goddamn.
Moving on.
So, so TLC WrestleMania was pretty good.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, that went well.
We had a voice of reason as to why we chose what we chose.
Yeah. So, do we want to move on to... Which one do we want to move on to?
Whatever is fine.
I just spearheaded that one, so why don't we move on to... let's go to Shakeover.
Okay.
We're going to NXT Shakeover.
NXT Shakeover.
So I'm going to add a little more time to this game. I'm going to say 20 minutes.
Okay.
So the gist with this one is that the Shant is going to start talking. We've already picked his topic. He's going to talk. And this is where we just... he's going to start it, basically. And this is sort of a capture the flag kind of game where the commission and I will sporadically try to shake over the conversation. Where we grab onto one detail of what the Shant has just said and change the topic entirely. And then we continue down that path until somebody else claims the reins, the Roman reigns. So let's get this rolling on Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
Sacco Rollins Young.
Yes, as he's come to be known.
Affectionately.
I would say is absolutely my favorite to watch of this generation. Just a guy who's the total package and can do anything. He can talk, he can wrestle, he can have a great feud. By the same token, he can have a bad feud.
CrossFit Jesus, baby.
But I just feel like very well deserved what he's getting this year. Title match against Brock Lesnar, and I'm looking forward to seeing a new Universal Champion.
The thing with the Universal title for me is the fact that we've had, what, 3, 4 champions?
I'm going to say 4.
I think it's 4.
And what, 95% of this title's history has been taken over by Brock? I mean, I'm still waiting for the return to Finn Balor. He hasn't gotten his due. They really kind of shit the bed on Finn Balor. I just want to see more of the Demon King. I want to see him come back, and that makes it sound like the Demon King is like on the shelf. I want to see Finn Balor come back.
You want to see that Finn Balor come back.
I want to see that Finn Balor. Just that character of Finn Balor versus what we got with the IC belt.
Okay, so here's my thing. You want to see the Demon King, that version of Finn Balor come back. Here's the thing. You can't personally have the Demon King come into WrestleMania unless it's against what is the benefactor, the stamp of WrestleMania. If you're going to have the Demon King, you have to have him go up against one of the greatest WrestleMania competitors in wrestling history.
Bray Wyatt, right?
God, no. You know who I'm talking about. He's Mr. 24-2, possibly the greatest competitor in wrestling history, who has the greatest gimmick ever. Granted, the biker thing was okay. But I'm just saying, if you're going to see the Demon King, you have to have Dead Man Walking.
Demon King versus Undertaker would be fun to watch.
Exactly. Why? Because you have what is the future versus the greatest past, greatest present ever clashing at WrestleMania. You have those
then
two.
Now and forever.
I'm just saying, if you have the Undertaker involved with the Demon King, you'll get, I think, one of the best matches. Granted, it's not like you get, old school, you get, high flying ability and just impressiveness out of them, but you still get a good match. You still get the strike force, the combat capability, and maybe a little bit of submission technicality out of the Undertaker.
So wait, remind me who we're talking about?
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker. You mean the mayor of Death Valley?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the mayor of Death Valley, what about the mayor of Knox County?
Wow.
Kane. What's he doing in life? I mean, he came back for Crown Jewel.
No,
sorry,
that's
he
not what it's
came
called.
back for best in the world.
Yeah.
He came back for best in the
World
world
Cup.
for
World
that
Cup.
horrendous match where Triple H and the Undertaker threw themselves into the barricade. And then he just sidled off back home to, where's Knox County? Is that
Tennessee.
it? Tennessee. I heard he did it because WWE said they were going to donate money to some sort of fund, though, from my understanding, $100,000. So he was like, sure, help my cause.
I mean, that's very nice of him to do it for the people, but I think back to people who do things for other people. And I gotta immediately go back to, Rikishi, who just did it for The Rock. I mean, yes, that was very sick and twisted. He ran over my favorite superstar of all time. I was very hurt. He missed almost a year of the Attitude Era. But in that same vein, you had people like The Rock and Triple H who were able to branch out and be in the main event and have Iron Man matches, which Shawn Michaels...
So here's the thing. You mentioned Iron Man matches. Who's the greatest competitor in an Iron Man match not to have a pinfall or submission for 60 whole minutes, but still become a champion?
Pittsburgh?
Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
Fuck Pittsburgh, by the way. Again, the icon, Mr. WrestleMania himself. You still keep it in the vein that you have Shawn Michaels involved. But do you see him involved lately? No, because he's wearing a goddamn cowboy hat.
Well, it's because he doesn't have any hair. You know who else doesn't have any hair?
Who doesn't have hair?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh
Oh man, the Texas Rattlesnake, one of the best ever. One of my favorite segments with him always was the beer truck. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was silly, it was goofy, but it sold.
I
the
think
story.
we just hit 20 years since that. No,
Almost, I think. I think it's been almost
98.
21
No,
years.
99.
20 years.
20
Holy
years.
God.
So the beer truck, one of my favorite segments with him. I I think The Rock posted online about
He did.
toughest son of a bitch I've ever known. Did this segment so we could work with him, even though his neck was broken. And everyone was like, "Whoa, broken necks."
Well, if I could segue for a minute, you talk about beer, but there are some people who are on the other side of that in life. They're a part of they're straight edge. Who does that remind me
Straight
of?
edge, you say? You want to talk about a straight edge?
Serena Deeb?
No, Luke Gallows. Man, they've dropped the ball with Luke and Carl, man. They just brought them in, what's their tag team name?
The Good Brothers?
I say Good Brothers. I also say the Botch Club. But
That's the Bella Twins.
But they are part of a club. I mean, possibly one of the greatest clubs.
Is that Mickey Mouse Club?
With the most overused hand gesture.
Hey, but that hand gesture has belonged to one of the greatest teams ever. Whether it's part of the Clique, whether it's part of the NWO.
I want to talk about the hand gesture real quick. Did either of you guys see the picture of Ricochet that he posted recently? I forget who was even in the photo, but he's doing the hand gesture next to somebody that I don't think is actually attached to that hand gesture. Let me see. Continue. I'm going to look this up, though. I just wanted to share that with you.
Did I hear about a certain hand gesture in a certain group? Disco Inferno was also part of the NWO.
Oh, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wait, whoa.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. I saw the picture, but I didn't even notice the hand gesture.
I'm like, why are you doing that?
Austin's like,
he's like,
really? He's a WCW.
Son, that hand gesture has nothing to do with me.
That's stunning. You know what else is stunning? Stone Cold when he stunners everybody in his path.
Did I hear stunning? Remember back when he was stunning Steve Austin in WCW wrestling?
But if you want to talk about adjectives like stunning, we can't forget about ravishing and how ravishing Rick Rude was.
He was rude. He was rude. He had the attitude just alongside with other dudes that had attitude. Talk about Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash.
Did I hear Rude? What about Bobby Roode?
Oh man, talk about somebody else who had the ball dropped.
I mean, you can't say that he wasn't gloriously dropped as far as like it comes to being either main eventing or just part-timing or jobbing it.
Yeah, you've got a guy who really proved himself over in Impact and spent years over there.
Impact.
Beer money.
I think they're still hiring.
Became TNA or whatever the hell they called the title, TNA World Champion. Built a whole new character after he shaved his hair. And then he comes over to WWE and everyone's hyped, or to NXT, and they're hyped. He does really well down in NXT because everybody does. I would do really well in NXT and then come up to the main roster and just get fucked over.
Well, speaking of NXT, it's run by Triple H. I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of people have been saying that, he should be handed over full control. And I'm just saying that might be
give him full control.
Best.
You get better storylines for certain shows that haven't had good storylines like Raw or SmackDown.
For business, go ahead.
Now, if you want to talk about control, let's talk about control of censorship with the right to censor. You had Stevie Richards, the OG Stevie Richards, Ivory, the Good Father, and Bull Buchanan.
The Good Father. I don't know the Good Father. I know the Godfather with the whole train.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
I liked the right to censor. I think we've kind of talked about them a little bit in the past, but I thought that was a fun gimmick, and it was fun. Weird.
It was annoying. It was a little bit of everything that you wanted to love and hate about it. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicks that you can really just. What the fuck were you thinking?
I would have liked to have seen the right to censor be a main event faction. I'm not even kidding. Like having some of your heroes beat the shit out of the right to censor at the top of the card would have been fucking cool. Well, but I don't know that the talent that they chose would have been able to really support that, and that's unfortunate.
Well, I know you mentioned Stevie Richards, and that reminds me of Stevie Richards, finally got his due, and, went on to WrestleMania to win, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
granted, it was a WrestleMania 20 years in the making,
Yeah.
But it was considered one of the greatest triple threat matches of all time with Stevie, Shawn, and Triple H.
And you had the tap out at the hands of the Stevie kick.
Yep.
And
then
then
you
right across the face.
Speaking of entrances, because we do have the network playing in the background,
Which you can get for a non-negotiable, but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
I just saw what I consider one of his many great entrances. Not one of his great matches at WrestleMania, just because who's involved. Seeing Triple H and his wife, Stephanie McMahon, enter with the ATVs down that long-ass ramp and pathway.
Did I hear about entrances? Someone who didn't really have a successful entrance was the Shockmaster.
Yeah, he really burst onto the scene.
He tumbled down that card, didn't he?
He fell. You can literally hear someone, like, as soon as that entrance happened, he fell.
You want to talk about dropping something? He dropped himself right onto the ground. But also, speaking of the Shockmaster, he was wearing a Stormtrooper helmet. Stormtroopers from Star Wars were notoriously bad at hitting their mark, and I'd like to talk about people who
You mean the
are
marks?
Really, yeah, let's talk about the marks.
The marks of this current fucking audience, I'm not going to mention what city they're in, but fuck the city. Pittsburgh, my God, what the hell is wrong with you?
Why couldn't you be more like Lafayette?
Oh, speaking of Lafayette, tell us why they're the worst crowd.
Dan,
Why is Lafayette the worst?
because they have no reaction. Which, if this was Pittsburgh, I would say great. But you have people like Nikki Cross coming out, and all these NXT call-ups and all these superstars, they come out, and crickets.
Consequently, that arena should probably call an exterminator because there's far too many.
Like, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but when Shinsuke would come into the ring in NXT and he would do the little pose?
The breaking of their arm?
Yeah, the breaking of the
You
arm.
almost broke yours.
When he would do that in the middle of the ring, everybody would have a loud reaction, and it was very intentional. It was like a Stone Cold pop going off. When he came to the main roster, he would do that. You wouldn't hear anything because I don't know. People are just clueless about if they're supposed
People
to do that or
don't
not.
tune into NXT as much as they should.
People, expand your horizons. It's a good idea.
But you know what? Talking about Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the most underutilized United States champions of the recent era.
And nowhere utilized in this year's WrestleMania.
Correct. What I want to talk about is how successful somebody else was used for the Intercontinental Championship just 1 year ago. And that's Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he was successful, and then Pittsburgh happened.
But you know what? Fuck Pittsburgh.
Fuck
Commish.
Pittsburgh. Fuck Pittsburgh. Why fuck Pittsburgh? Has the worst audience. Was given last year's possibly considered worst pay-per-view events.
World Cup.
There's so many names for that horrible one, but it's on the top of the list there, along with it.
Did you mention list?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Did I make the list?
What number do you want to be on the list?
It has to be an odd number because for some reason on the list, every even number ends with the arm bar.
And I think that's the best way to conclude this game.
All right, so that was Shakeover.
I like that, by the way. We just brought it full circle.
We ended 5 minutes early too.
The-
But that's fine.
Were we
No,
really
that's
talking
fine.
for 15 minutes? Jesus.
Yeah.
And this is what the beta testing is for, so that we can fine tune how we want this stuff to flow, how we want it to end.
The way we just segued was just ridiculous.
There were a lot of real sharp, sporadic changes, but it's okay. We should probably stretch the segments a little bit more. But look who it is. So let's move on to my next game, Backlash. So, Backlash, the game of repercussions. The way this one's going to work is I'm going to stay out of this conversation. The Shant and the commish are going to discuss. Is it this year's WrestleMania you guys are going to talk about?
Well,
Or
it's WrestleMania themes. Yeah, we said WrestleMania theme.
Yeah, but I was confirming if it was all just WrestleMania in general.
Yeah, in
or
general.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
so this one's going to be about WrestleMania as a whole, and I've written 3 words on a sheet of paper, and if they say any of these words, I'm going to hit them, and they're going to have to try in time to identify what the words are. So I had to go a little bit vague. I wish I had zoomed in a little bit more, but I don't know how I could. You know what? I do know. I'm going to change one of the words. Hold on.
Here we go.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get into the game. So they're going to start the conversation. They have to try and guess what these words are as I hit them. So, gentlemen, take it away.
By the way, Dan, we don't have insurance, so not too hard.
And if you do hit hard, I'm smacking you back.
Are you gonna lay the smack it down?
Of course I am.
Oh my goodness. I gotta listen real careful.
Okay. So it's WrestleMania season.
We're finally on the road.
We're finally on the road. We're out of the fast lane. I was, like I said before, other than the main event consisting of the 3-4 marquee matches, I'm not really excited. Marquee.
Sorry, that probably hurt your face.
I think what it is just, you're just not excited for the main event matches that are involved with what's going on. I mean, you have to be excited for what the main event is with the man, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, the Woo, Flair, and God, it's hard to remember the nickname.
Mousetrap, Raccoon, Red Wing, Bluebird, Red Wing, Kabuki, Spiderweb, Video Game.
Fuck. Ronda Rousey.
Yes. I mean, you got Triple H and Batista.
Move your fingers. I don't want to hurt you. I feel like that's what happened the last time I hit you. Go.
I was trying to cover up the shot by having it hurt my fingers.
You do you.
I'm so scared to tell.
Me too.
All right. Okay. So
Triple H and Batista.
I just feel like I sometimes think back to WrestleMania 21 when these two first initially squared off, and I feel like at that time you knew who your next superstar was that you wanted to push. You know what title match, title match? Belt.
No.
Championship.
look, you were talking about a match involving those two.
Match?
Yes.
So do we have to guess 2 more words?
Just 2 more words.
Okay.
Thank God it was that word because I was about to smack you.
I'm going to redirect you guys. Talk about the Universal Championship match.
You mean with Brock Lesnar? Paul
Yeah.
Heyman?
Paul Heyman? Manager? Advocate? Agent?
Brock?
You guys got to fine tune it. Keep going.
Okay, what do you want us to talk about it? It's been the one championship that we hardly see that's held hostage by... Okay, do you consider him one of the greatest wrestlers?
Brock Lesnar?
Yes.
I like him. I feel like he
Do you
can
think
wrestle.
that his manager or his advocate, Paul Heyman, is possibly... Has to be Paul Heyman, you son of a bitch. Paul?
Heyman? Heyman?
Heyman. Fuck! God, like the pain went away for a while and he brought it back.
Okay, so it was Heyman.
Thank God there's only 1:30 left. Go. Keep going.
Keep talking about this.
Hurry. Mention what it is you want us to talk about.
Keep talking about this match.
Okay,
So how do
Brock
you-
versus Seth.
How do you see this match going down? Do you think we're going to see like 7 F5s or are we going to see like Brock actually trying to have a match?
I'm trying to have a match, but he'll start it off with Suplex City. Suplex after suplex. You'll see... I'm expecting a heel turn.
There's a spot that I want to predict in this match. I'm thinking either a, what do you call it? A springboard curb stomp or a curb stomp from the top rope to Brock Lesnar. That's
Which championship match on the card do you guys think is going to have the best match?
Women's Championship,
No, the WWE Championship with Kofi and Daniel Bryan.
the United States Championship, Intercontinental, Women's.
Keep going.
SmackDown Women's.
Keep using words.
Raw Women's.
Bobby Lashley. Leo Rush.
No. To be fair, you guys did say this word, but because I'm trying to limit it to where you have to call out the specific word, I didn't give you credit for this one.
Title.
So it was title. With 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds
doing
left.
it.
We find
Thank God
they
he's
got
not
the
doing
3 words.
Okay.
So it was
originally. You hit hard.
Originally, it was Heyman, title, and classic.
Okay.
Because I thought we were going to talk about WrestleMania as a whole.
Yeah,
and then
we
you guys
We were trying
focused
to
on
revert to that at one point.
But then you guys you were real slow and you stayed on 35, and so classic never came up. So I
Right.
scratched that one out and I went back to Heyman.
No,
because I replaced
in 35 you could have said one of these is going to become a classic match to remember.
But I didn't. I was trying not to influence it, and I think that's something that whoever is the slapper in the future has to do. Like, you have to kind of like wrangle the conversation a little bit. You don't want to be like a part of it, but you want to be like, talk about this topic. So
I hate you.
there you go.
So much right now.
Moving forward.
That one was fun. You guys enjoyed that, right?
Next time you're going to be the one that gets slapped.
So the final game to try on today's episode, guys. Super Throwdown.
You want to explain the rules of this game?
So Super Throwdown, we're going to have the Shant start talking again. He is going to be the driving force of this topic, which is going to be the Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio match at this year's WrestleMania. The commission and I both have 2 other WrestleMania matches from history written on paper. And do you still have yours in order?
No.
Well, you're... Okay, so that's going to be your first one. You've got to incorporate that one first now. So I have mine stacked. We have them in an order where we don't know which one is which, or we're not supposed to. And we have to try and incorporate that into the overarching conversation somehow. So, the Shant is going to talk, and the commission and I will try to interject regarding these other matches.
Okay.
So, take it away.
So we have Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Kind of weird because we were all thinking that Rey and Andrade are going to do something, and I know nobody saw Samoa Joe being champion this time of year. And they also had that segment where Dominic is all grown up, and that leads me to believe we're going to pull an Oh Wendy, but now it's going to be Rey Mysterio instead of AJ Styles. I'm expecting maybe one of the opening matches for this. I'm thinking maybe give
619.
the 619, yes. I'm thinking maybe like a 9 or 11 minute match. These two can have a match. It's kind of David versus Goliath. But I just feel like they don't need a whole lot of time, especially when you have all these other matches you got to get through. I'm thinking Dominic somehow gets involved in this. Maybe we pull into a Jerry Springer angle.
Jerry.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just feel like it might be... I'm not going to say it's going to be a classic, but...
Oh, now you say classic.
You should hit him for that.
If you hit me, I swear. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's just I mean, I think R-Truth at one point was supposed to be involved being U.S. champion, taking on John Cena. That's the rumor, but plans change.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Hence why he was incorporating the "You Can't See Me" and Cena's my hero shit. But yeah, that's kind of my sentiments about it.
Well, you know what? You mentioned this one not necessarily being a classic. It'll be a fine match. These two are both talented guys. They both had long, decorated careers. And two other superstars who have had a WrestleMania match that I know also have had long, decorated careers is Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. And those two are some of the best performers that the WWE and the wrestling world really, at least mostly in Jericho's court, has ever seen. They're both amazing storytellers. They're both amazing performers. Maybe not as much nowadays, just because they've gotten a little older.
Right.
A little.
And lost some hair, Sean.
A lot.
But no, good match. It's a good match. Talking about classics. These two between the two of them have countless classics. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Jericho, as of recent, has gone on record to say, or actually not even as of recent, but has always gone on record to say that, him versus Shawn was the show stealer of WrestleMania 19. Again, I talked about it before. I don't think Joe and Ray are going to be the show stealer. Much like Shawn and Jericho, am I seeing a bunch of high spots and high flying, especially from Mysterio? Yes, I do. Samoa Joe can even, do some high flying stuff as well. I can remember at Fastlane when he, dove over the top ropes. He just went through clean without touching the ropes, and he just dived it to the outside. So I think much like Shawn and Jericho, we're going to see some high spots. Show stealer, I don't see it, but yeah.
So you feel it's kind of anticlimactic?
Yes.
Well, I don't see this. Well, okay. You said there are going to be some spots. There's another match that had a lot of spots in it itself, and I'm talking about Edge versus Mick Foley in the hardcore match back at WrestleMania 22. 2006 was kind of like a weird year as far as like what the direction was going as far as matches. Edge, I think, was what? Heel?
Yes.
Again?
Yeah.
This is the whole timing of him and Lita.
Rated R Superstar.
Yeah, like kind of like the beginning of the Rated R Superstar. Okay, so kind of like Joe and Ray, there was a lot of spots in this match too. I mean, we got to see...
You got the one agile guy and the one bigger dude. No offense to Mick.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as big as... Is he kind of as big as Samoa Joe?
Not like
Body shape wise?
I think Joe's more muscular, but they're both
heavy
a
set
little
guys.
heavier, yeah.
So the thing with that, it's like, what? There's a table on fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Edge goes through, and then you see him like, oh god, because he couldn't really see.
Right.
But still, like you got to see highlights. Like there's things that stood out from that. But who's to say there's not going to be stuff that stands out from this? Because you have someone who knows how to play the psychological game very well, and especially when you give him leeway on the microphone. Like Samoa Joe can pull something off. I'm just saying it might not be as great as like seeing a table on fire or a barbed wire bat to the nuts. Just saying.
Much like Edge being the Rated R Superstar, I think Samoa Joe is kind of that guy where he'll push the boundaries, he'll say stuff on the microphone where it's like, it's not excessive cussing or anything like that, but it's like, did he really just say that? I'll always go back to when he looks at
really
Jeff Hardy.
tell me he didn't just say that.
He did. So yeah, in that type of a match, I see Joe being character wise, I see him being Edge, and actually Mick Foley, kind of who was the veteran at the time. I see Mysterio in this match as being the veteran who's once again taking one last shot at trying to have his spotlight. So I think much like Edge versus Mick Foley. Obviously, this is not an Extreme Rules match, so you're not going to see the tables and the barbed wire and all that, but you will see the high spots as well as the rated R element in this storyline.
But you also said that you could see bad stuff in this too, right?
Yes.
You want to know what else is bad? That could not be as bad as this, but still, like, it makes you feel like, really? This happened? Let me mention this match to you. Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon. The return. You want to know why that's considered like just the worst fucking thing ever? Someone, don't get me wrong, he will always be the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Was he though at that point for a man in his 60s?
Well, he ran into a couple of health headaches.
Yeah, he couldn't bump.
Headache's probably not a good word to use there. He ran into a couple of health bumps.
Yes.
That really, should he have even been in a wrestling ring anymore?
No.
Probably
I don't
not.
think so.
Because from my understanding, because was it just one? He just had one stroke.
I think so.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
You kind of watch him walking around, and not to say that he couldn't walk, but he did not look.
What he used to be.
Yeah, he didn't look as fluid or functional as
He didn't look as
he
the
used
excellence
to
of execution.
be. And I think they went out of their way to try and protect him.
The
throughout
excellence
the
of
whole thing.
pre-precaution.
But it was not pleasant to watch. If you want to talk about sort of a clusterfuck, sort of a mess,
Here we go.
what you could compare this match and the Edge versus Mick Foley match to Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32. You got a no-holds-barred match, weapons galore, match ends with an F5 onto a pile of chairs. Jesus. Anticlimactic for sure.
Well, let me tie both of those in. So first, in regards to Vince versus Brett, you had the family element to it, where the entire Hart family is coming out with Vince. Oh, we sold out and we're with the devil now. I think in this match you will once again have that family element where we're going to bring family into this and Dominic is somehow going to get involved. With that, it's like, the thing with that is that you were expecting that to be a good match. This one, I'm not expecting it to be a good match.
Yeah.
So if it's a disappointment, I'm like, told you so.
Are we going to see Suplex City in this Rey Mysterio match, though, too? Since you got the Samoan submission machine in there?
No, but we might see Coquina City.
Coquina?
Which is basically just a sleeper hold.
Yep, pretty much.
That's why I hate that they refer to that as like its own move. No.
But it's really protected if you think about it.
Yeah, if you look at the way he kind of cradles their head, he's pretty safe about that part.
Yeah.
When he rips you off your feet, Seth Rollins style, damaged knees and all, he could probably be a little more gentle.
Yes. So, Ray versus a Samoa Joe. I'm thinking probably Ray goes out with the win on this match.
With the belt?
With the belt.
Do you anticipate this match being a super throwdown?
I guess you could say that, yep. A super showdown. So yeah, those are my sentiments.
All right. Good talk, good talk.
Good game night. So, there you go,
We have
guys.
5 minutes left.
I think this was a semi-successful test of these.
I think we still have some work to do,
Yeah.
but overall I think it panned out very well.
Very well.
Since we have 5 minutes left, anything you guys want to cover? Whether this is rumors or just a thought that has come up or something that you want to get out there, out in the open? Because I know,
go ahead.
I know that I kind of brought this up where I was like, if you guys want, we can have a segment where we address rumors and stuff or stuff that's going on. Tell me how you guys feel about this. So this may be like a week and a half ago where Lana jumps on social media and goes, look at Aleister Black. He's covering his body in tattoos because he's trying to cover up his insecurities. And then Aleister Black comes back with, well, at least my body is not covered in plastic.
Oh.
Yeah, but then a fan goes, oh, are you having fun body shaming a woman? And I'm like, so...
Oh.
Sir, she started it.
And that's my thing is like, so she can start it, that's okay, but if someone fires back, that's when it's a problem?
I don't have a
It is
problem.
5 minutes left.
I don't have a problem with Alistair responding to that because she was being kind of a bitch.
Whoa.
I don't know if they're trying to like subtly plant seeds for Alistair versus Rusev.
And with Zelina and Lana.
Well, maybe, but you'd have to get Zelina off of
fake ass
Andrade.
Vega?
You'd have to get the girl from the Bronx off of Andrade
Supposed to be Puerto Rican.
before you could do that. And I don't know if they're gonna. They might. Like I think if you're planning to turn Andrade face to pair him with Ray, then you could drop Zelina, and then you could bring Zelina over. You could make her more of a seductress sort.
She's very annoying.
Like, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't want to go like Ariel with Kevin Thorne with her and Alistair, but you could pair
Or Paul Burchill and Katie Lee.
Yeah, the brother sister sleeping
Incest,
together combo.
yep.
Yeah, that one was nice.
Was it?
I liked Paul Burchill as the pirate. I'm not even gonna lie. Pirate Burchill, that was fucking funny. But yeah, you could pair her and Alistair and have her be sort of like if you tone her down from where she is right now, change her character. You could pair the two of them. You could have Rusev and Lana. You could have those four. But then what do you do afterwards? Like now, once you've got not Andrade, once you've got Alistair and Zelina paired, do you split them back up? I don't think Alistair needs a manager.
He doesn't. He's fine on his
So
own.
I'm hesitant to even bring that aspect of his
He
life.
doesn't need a partner either.
You mean King Ricochet?
Yes, Ricochet's better as
Ricochet,
singles.
can you ricochet?
Yourself out.
Ricochet yourself back to NXT.
But did you want to say something? Because before I brought this up, I think
I
you
don't
were
remember what I was
okay.
gonna say.
Kamish, your sentiments about this little scuffle?
We're in an era where you can't really speak your mind without fans commenting all around the world about your antics or what you have to say. If this was 15 years ago, you could build on this.
Yeah.
But because we live in a modern era of social media where it's like we have an opinion as well, and us as the universe, we can speak our minds and say something to them. And sometimes either their press people that run their social media accounts respond back to us, or they themselves respond back. It's like, you get upset at my opinion. I'm just gonna stop.
They say we live in a very offensive world where if you look at someone the wrong way,
I can't say fuck you to somebody without, oh, now you're shaming this person. Now you're shaming that.
Maybe that's why our viewer count is down. How many times we've said fuck?
yeah, parental
Oh.
discretion is advised.
How many times we said fuck this person?
Who are we talking about?
Have we put that on the? Have we put a parental advisory notice on the page?
At one point there should be.
I swear to God, Sean, don't you do it.
Don't do it.
I don't have a problem with Alistair responding. I think that you're gonna have people who get a little bent out of shape because he turns the table on her, but CJ probably should have kept her fucking thoughts to herself.
But the thing is, okay, she's been very vocal lately on social media.
She's liking all of Becky's posts.
She wants Ronda out just as bad as other fans do.
Preach.
I think she's your quintessential undercarder who's upset that the part-timer is here and taking time away from her, except for the fact that, no offense, like, I wanted Lana to get time to work. You said you started watching Total Divas. I'd been watching it for a while, and there's a whole story arc where they gave her a match, and they were like, we're not going to do this again. And then she posted on Twitter of the kickout, which ended up getting her more matches, but they were pissed at her.
It was squash matches, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted Lana to get more work because you're not going to become they were like, you're a bad wrestler. You're not going to get better if you're not wrestling, though.
Yeah.
Then have her wrestle if you don't think she's going to get better.
Give her experience. But in a situation like this, how about just shut the fuck up? I don't have a problem with what Alistair said. I think him defending himself, albeit with a barb. What she said probably, not necessarily too much, but what she said probably upset him and was like, this is my fucking coworker. Why are you doing that?
Dan?
Why are you starting shit, Lana? And so then he responds to be like, you want to try and take a jab at me? Here's a jab at you. You don't like it, do you? Because I don't know that I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but I don't feel like he's probably a huge raging asshole who just wants to pick on women.
Yeah.
But she brought it on herself.
Word.
Life.
This is basic thugonomics.
101. So, there you go, guys. We had our game night and also wrapped it up with a small little rumor talk. And so, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening in, and we will see you all